Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. Look, I understand as well as anybody that being in law enforcement is a tough job, is a tough, strenuous, stressful job where it come down to decision making in certain moments. But the problem that a lot of people, and particularly like me, have is your decision making when it comes to people that look like me on how to handle a situation. And why does every situation or a confrontation with somebody that looks like me, whether male or female, 9 out of 10, right or wrong, weapon or no weapon, they seem to end up 6 feet under in the morgue? It is too many cases where I've seen people that didn't look like me flat out shoot at the police, wave a gun, wave a machete, wave some kind of sharp object towards the police, but somehow, some way, they seem to make it to the police station to have their day in court. But when it comes to a dude like me, hey, plow him down. Or even when it comes to a person that isn't in law enforcement, every time they have an encounter with a guy like me, depending on their perspective states, right to carry states, a confrontation, an argument lead to somebody like me possibly ended up in the morgue. You know, in recent months, there have been some very questionable situations. And you have to ask yourself, no matter how much we want to pretend, why is there such a lack of respect and value for a black man's life? And no, I'm not going to say person of color. And I will say a black man or a black woman's life. Why does every confrontation, whether it's a cop or a citizen, a so-called citizen that happened not to be black, every confrontation or argument leads to somebody pulling the gun, hollering about their fear for their safety? Okay, now you have the Ahmaud Arbery situation where a father and son basically pursued him, hunted him down, confronted him, and shot him. They were not cops. And people said, well, they have a right to make a citizen's arrest. But it's fuzzy around the so-called citizen's arrest because I looked it up. How can you make a citizen's arrest and you didn't see a person committing a crime? You just suspected. That's what you call the police for. This dude was retired. He is not in law enforcement. So he had no right to confront him. You know, but basically you want to hear people say, oh, well, he attacked them. Well, that's because they attacked him. That's because they pursued him and hunted him. And he fought. He had every right to fight for his life. The same way Trayvon Martin had every right to defend himself against George Zimmerman. See, like I said before, self-defense don't apply to us. It's that when it comes to us, oh, you attacked that person. Oh, you know, it's no self-defense for us. We attacked the person, we killed them, it was premeditated, you going to jail. And people want to pretend that it is not a difference, that it isn't different guidelines. As long as we continue to play these games, we're not going to go nowhere. We're not going to, we're not going to find any common ground. But you have, once again, Ahmaud Arbery out of Georgia. Then just in April, of a few weeks ago, you had a man whose last name I think was Stephen Taylor, who was gunned down in San Leandro, California at a Walmart. And the funny part about it is I used to work at that Walmart. 15555 Hesperian Boulevard, San Leandro, California. I used to work at that Walmart. When I got out of jail, when I couldn't find work, I worked there for a year. Because it was hard for me to find work because I had had a conviction for a violent crime. And when you have a conviction for a violent crime, it's real hard to find work, But nevertheless, I worked there for a year. And, I went through a lot of stuff there, But it was a job to get me back on my feet. I got back on my feet. A better opportunity came along and I left. So, But nevertheless, there's video footage. Stephen Taylor was a 33-year-old black man who, for whatever reason, he was first accused of robbing the store. And I'm going to be fair. Now the police get there, no robbery had took place. Now, he grabbed a baseball bat and he threatened to use it towards the San Leandro PD. But here's where it gets fuzzy. They tried to taser him. Didn't work. Now I don't see any footage of him swinging that bat. But at the end of the day, they said they used tasers, didn't work. Okay. So then they fire a shot. Okay. One shot. Okay. They shoot him. Okay. Now, instead of them trying to subdue him and tackle him to the ground, because he drops the bat and he starts to retreat. So then the police issue another shot and he falls face first. After he drops the bat, they could have tried to tackle him and subdue him. But no, they fire another shot, and that's pretty much the fatal shot. And of course, you got people saying the police did the right thing because, as usual, when it comes to us, it's no, let this man have his day in court. And it looks like it was an execution. It was like, hey, we don't want to arrest this dude. Let's just put him down. So they put him down. And this happened in April. Then you have the incident with Mr. Reed. In Indianapolis. Apparently, he served in the military for like a year. So somebody tried to say, well, he was only in there for a year. Don't matter whether he was in there a year, whether he was in there 3 months, he served in the military. Okay. But apparently, Mr. Reed, he tried to record everything. He tried to film it. And basically, there's no indication on whether he had a weapon. And basically, the police fired multiple shots at him, killing him. And you could hear a police talking about, hey, well, look like he gonna have a closed casket funeral. Just routinely like, hey, all right, well. Then you have Doug Lewis in St. Paul, Minnesota, who get into a confrontation with a guy by the name of Anthony Trifoletti over a fender bender. Now, basically, these dudes try to resolve the situation. It appears that Anthony Trifoletti follows. Now, he follows Doug Lewis, who they say has no criminal record. And if he did, so fucking what? And basically he follows Doug Lewis. Doug Lewis parks his car. Anthony Trifoletti gets out his car, fires 4 shots from what they say, and he kills Doug Lewis. But he says he feared for his safety, but he followed Doug Lewis. Basically, he wanted a reason to shoot him. And he's been charged with murder. But that's the problem. You still got people trying to downplay what Trifoletti did. How do you fear for your safety when you follow somebody and you start up a confrontation once again? Oh, I thought he was a gangbanger. And his friends tried to say that he said, "Oh, well, I'm a GD." And they checked Doug Lewis' car. He was unarmed. Didn't have no gun on him, but he should have had one because now he ain't here. Now keep in mind, Doug Lewis was a father of 4, working 3 jobs to pay ends meet. But it's just, the problem is it's the value or the devalue or how people try to dehumanize black men or black people as a whole when it comes to these situations. And this is why I don't like talking to people outside of our community, because they're not, they don't show no compassion. But then as soon as something happened to them, then all of a sudden, here they come with the kumbaya, let's all be friends. But it just seemed to be a serious issue that's been going on, how people do not value black people's lives. Just take his life. Anthony Trifoletti should have just took it ass on. If he had the information, he should have let the insurance companies take it from there. But you followed this man, and the man saw that you was following him, and basically he was ready to square up. But you took a gun out and you shot him, and then you tried to say you feared for your safety. When you can't fear for your safety when you hunt somebody down. And that's why a lot of people didn't understand with George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman acted in self-defense from a confrontation that he provoked and that he started. And once again, you saw what people was all about, and particularly the Mayonnaise Nation. They actually tried to criminalize Trayvon Martin, but he was the victim. But yeah, this is the problem that a lot of people don't want to address. How simple it is for people to just take out a gun and be able to confront a black person and gun them down, and then, at the end of the day, there's no repercussion. Now, we'll see how these trials play out. We'll see how what happened with Doug Lewis and Ahmaud Arbery plays out. So, we'll see. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.